Okay, so let's explain the tier list. The tier list, I figured rather than do just like a straight like S to F tier,
Sure.
which is what a lot of these are, I gave short descriptions on what the tier is because it's not just about whether we like them because we have very complicated and mixed opinions on a lot of these games.
Yeah.
So this is more about how likely we are to play the game again and generally how happy we are that we played it. So Play Forever is the tier for like, yeah, I would totally just pop that game in and play it again for fun. Might go back to it again is like, had a pretty good time with it. It's not something that we're definitely going to go back and play again, but like under the right circumstances, if you wanted to like show it to somebody or if you wanted to...
I was going to say that's kind of like the show it to a friend category almost.
Yeah, you could think of it like the show, which like for one reason or another, you'd go back to that well and be like, hey, you got to check this out, or just like to sort of poke around with it a little bit. Pretty good one time is like, had a good time with it, probably not gonna play it again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that one's
everything...
that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I feel like because you're happy you played it, but you don't want to do it again.
Yeah, you got everything that you wanted out of it, and there's I feel like there's an important distinction to be made here, and that is the words "pretty good."
Right.
So we have to establish that pretty good one time is like, I had a generally good time with this game, but I'm done with it now.
Yeah.
Which is distinct from Now We Know, which is the I'm never touching this game again, but at least now I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so I there's a couple of games that I can think of that fall into that category where it's like, it's cool that I had that experience.
Yeah.
Like, it was a not unpleasant experience, and I'm glad I know that this game exists now because because it was a new experience. So I got to like learn something. I got to experience something that was like outside of my knowledge base, but I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any interest at all in going back to that. And I didn't particularly have fun with it. It was just like, literally, now we know. Now I have that experience. I feel better for having had that experience, but like the game itself was not that good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And Never Again is pretty much reserved for Jalico.
Never Again is, I wish I hadn't played it. I'm leaving these intentionally vague because we can actually move things around a bit.
So we started this adventure back on July 14th where we played Crystalis.
All right.
So for me, I think it would almost be it's either the Play Forever or might go back to it again. Because if there was like a compilation of cool old NES games, I would say like, hey, Crystalis is a good one to play,
Yeah, it's definitely in the underrated category, right? Like, solid RPG, you've got like leveling mechanics, you've got the story is nonsense, but it also like goes places.
Well, and the gameplay was just fun. Like it's really a game that kind of inspired a lot of games that you probably like today.
Mm-hmm. Definitely limited by its control scheme.
Yeah, could have used two more buttons.
The fact that you've only got the two buttons and those buttons have to work. Because one of them is like...
Oh, yeah. They do different things based on the menu you're on.
Yep. Well, and just the one button has to handle like magic and jumping and movement and talking to people and then the other one's like... And the other one's basically attack, but then you have to go in and out of menus to equip like the different elemental swords and their corresponding orbs and power-up items. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of menuing. Which slows the game down, but doesn't really make it less fun. It's still really good.
No, I think the biggest issue with the game would be the whole elemental weaknesses for monster types was kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
like it was annoying to switch. When it was annoying to switch what was best because of the cumbersome menuing.
Right. Especially when there's like three different enemies on the same screen. And it's like, I'm not going to kill an enemy and then go back into my menu and switch my weapon and my orb and then go out and then kill the next enemy and then go back into my menu. Like, I'll just hit him 8 times. I don't care.
Right, yeah. But going to space was... Wait, didn't you go to space in that game or something insane?
There was like a floating tower, but I don't think it's technically space.
No, it's not space. It was just a floating tower, yeah.
But it did have robots and a supercomputer.
It did have robots. That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe might go back.
In a very, very disappointing boss fight.
Yeah, that you just kill almost just immediately.
Pretty much. You get the super strong sword, which is in fact called the Crystallis.
Yeah,
Roll credits. And then you just proceed to like wipe everything else in the game, which I guess is a cool power trip, but it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Regardless, I
think it's
I agree with you. Again. Definitely one of the best games we played on the podcast, even still. Like very
it was
strong
really
start.
Cool. I don't know if I would ever play it. So for me, when I'm thinking of Play Forever, I'm thinking, just to spoiler alerts, one of the 2 Italian plumber games. Those are kind of for me in the like the Play Forever category. Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever put Crystallis in. It
has to be Play Forever is like if someone came up to you and was like, "Hey, do you want to play X game?" You would give an instant, enthusiastic, "Oh yeah, hell yeah,
yeah, sure, let's do it." Right. I think this might go back to it again because I think it would be more fun to play it with someone else or to show it to somebody else or whatever the case is. I don't know if I would ever play it on my own in a like,
Fair.
I can play anything I want and that's one of the options. I'd probably be like, yeah, let's play something else. So then next on July 21st, we played the legendary Rygar.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. They misspell legendary.
Men. Yeah, they're full of animalized men wiggling eerily.
Yep.
The legendary.
And looking back on Rygar after some of the stuff that we played now is like really kind of bizarre because Rygar is a weird game, but it's not nearly as weird as what we've played lately.
No, for me, Rygar kind of sits in the pretty good one time. Like,
yeah,
it's close to Now We Know, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've played some really, some really bad games. Played some pretty, yeah, exactly. Where comparing Rygar to like Karnov, it's like, oh wait.
Yeah. No, Rygar is kind of janky and weird, but it's functional.
Yeah.
It's got its quirks. It's got some stuff that's like, why? But
yeah, a lot of that.
It's generally all right. One thing we didn't talk about with Crystal is that music is bumping like throughout.
True. Except for the one track that they use too much in one of the dungeons starts to get a little grating.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
But
yeah, I know the one
good.
you're thinking about.
And Rygar has otherwise mediocre music except for the one track that's like, what?
Yep. That one like cave music is like, oh, suddenly we've got this like we've got this random jam.
Yeah, it's like a with like a 2-minute or like a minute song or something with different parts to it and everything. It's not even just like a quick tune.
We have like it's got a break for a solo.
Yeah.
Like it's got like a Jazz Odyssey solo in it. But then it also has Wacko's 4-note song.
God, please no, never again. When I got to that dungeon in the game, I was like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Dean's gonna have things to say about this because you're streaming it to people also. Mm-hmm. So not only is it offensive to your ears, you're now uncomfortable because you're offending everybody listening to you.
Yeah, everyone is upset now.
Right.
And so I am bringing it to them.
I'd have to say pretty good one time is very comfortable for me because I actually did have fun playing the game.
I kind of did too.
So then on July 28th, we played Demon's Crest.
I forgot that was the next one. I actually thought it was Final Fantasy.
No, that's next.
Yeah, you're right. I get those. So Demon's Crest was good. I think we can both agree with that.
Definitely. It was actually really awesome because I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did because I had played it. I played like just a minute of it or 2 minutes when the game was first released on the SNES online service. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But then you were suggesting, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go back to it. And I actually I wouldn't say fell in love with it, but I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It's got like weirdly Metroidvania-esque design.
I think that's why I liked it so much, is that it felt like I was playing a Metroidvania. I think for me, the final two bosses, for me to enjoy the game completely, I had to rely a bit on the rewind time stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's hard for me to like really put it in the play forever because I don't think I would go back to it unless it was the specifics of having the rewind time and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I would be comfortable putting in might go back to it again. But I would also be comfortable putting it in play forever if it was one that you felt super strongly with.
I actually closer to putting it into pretty good one time.
Okay, I can see that.
Only because I'm thinking about the circumstances under which I would actually go back and play it again. And I did actually 100% it. And it got frustrating to do that towards the end.
Yeah, that's what I meant about the rewinding the time and everything,
yeah.
is that I don't think I would be bothered playing it again unless it was requested of somebody.
Right. And that's it too. Like, I think that under the right circumstances, I would play it again. Like,
yeah, so
I would not mind going back to that. I've watched Let's Plays of it and stuff afterward, like, since we played it, and like speed runs and stuff. So like, I definitely enjoyed it enough to like probably pick it up again later. So.
Do you think you would play it? Because that's interesting that you would watch. I would definitely watch a speed run of it, and I'd be like, oh, cool, I understand what's happening here. But I'm wondering if it actually does make more sense in pretty good one time, because I don't think I will ever play Demon's Crest again, even if it was part of a collection.
I think I would pick it up again. Like, if you think about, like, we have to think like long term on this.
Of course. I'm not talking like
10
the next
years
year or
from
two.
now.
Sure, yeah.
If it just comes across your radar again, you'd be like, yeah, it's really fun, but I kind of forgot about it. Maybe I'll pick it up again and like, even if it's just to like play the first level and be like, oh yeah, that was cool.
That's what I was about to say, is that I would probably play, I could see myself playing through for maybe an hour or two, and then being like, okay, I've had enough. I don't feel like doing the actual hard parts of the game. Because
it does get
for the
to
most
be,
part,
it does get to be a bit of a grind. You have to literally 100% the game to get like the true ending or whatever.
Yeah,
and some of that
true
stuff
ending,
is just
final
really
bosses.
arbitrarily placed, and it gets frustrating. But I would definitely go back and like play the first and second level again. Like, there are just some games that you play once. There's just no reason to play them again.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Final Fantasy Adventure.
Yep, on August 4th, Final Fantasy Adventure. Now, for me, I played the Game Boy game, and then I actually played through the Vita remake or whatever it was.
Oh,
like
yeah.
2
it's
weeks
like,
later.
Adventure of Mana?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it is a Mana game.
I actually really liked that game a lot.
So
for me, I'd probably put it in the, you know what, I don't know, it's right on the cusp for me as a play forever kind of game, just because I really liked it.
I think there's going to be not that much stuff that goes into that category if we set the bar too high. And I don't want it to just be Mario 64.
Yeah.
Because that's a given. Like,
that's not fair.
We can almost put it up there right now.
It is. It can be there.
We know. Like, it's timeless. We don't even have to talk about it.
There's nothing even worth talking about.
Yeah.
So for me, Final Fantasy Adventure would be in the play forever category, because I would 100% play it again. So I'd probably put it in the play forever category, just because I liked it a lot.
I segued into it saying, like, there's some games there's no reason to go back to, but the more I think about it, the more, like, that was a fun game to play, and I would totally hit that up again.
There's like nothing. I would say there's really nothing bad about Final Fantasy Adventure in terms of. I mean, sure, there could be things that are better, but what's presented to you is not bad. On August 12th, we played Gunstar Heroes, which is kind of the first game that neither one of us had really
No,
had much.
Demon's Crest, we had no real.
True,
Demon's
but
Crest, we had
you
no
knew
real.
of it. I guess we both knew
oh,
of. Yeah. All right. I guess. I guess it was the first one for me that felt. That was one that I had heard of and knew was supposedly good, and I had not played it. So it was kind of like a fun one because of that, in a way, right? Because Chrysalis
Yeah.
I knew was good, and I just never played it. And
Yeah.
Rygar I just had heard of, but Gunstar Heroes was this cult classic that you heard was going for like lots of money sometimes if it was an unopened copy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like for me it's probably might go back to it again.
I actually that's exactly where I was gonna put it, because given the way that our opinions of it kind of changed over the course of the podcast, we both
Yeah, like
came
in the
into
middle
it
of-
with we went into the game, both of us, with really high expectations,
Yeah.
and found ourselves sort of let down by those expectations, because we were like, it's just it's fine, but it's just fine. Like,
Yeah, that's what it was like. Oh yeah, this is whatever.
yeah. And then we started talking about the different set pieces and a bunch of little bits of polish in there, and how cool some of the bosses were, and that last mission where you do the whole thing on the you play the whole mission on the screen while all the other bosses are watching you, and they all go out to fight you, and it's like, this
Yeah, I
game
love
has
that.
so much charm, and so much love in it. And I think that going back into it with that mindset of reliving some of those things and appreciating maybe some of the things we missed the last time, I would almost definitely want to go back with the perspective that I have on it now and play it again. Just
Would
to
it'd be really cool to play it 2-player.
That's true. That's true. I forgot the 2-player is even a thing. I bet the frame rate dies.
Yeah, probably, but it would still be really fun to. That would be like a. If I would I don't know, I would absolutely play it again. If we were playing it together or something like that,
Yeah.
would be for sure. Let's give it a try, even if we don't finish the game, just to see what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So then we have the NES Classic on
Stop
August
it.
18th. Vice Project Doom.
Yeah. What the?
What the?
It's
okay,
at
so-
least 30% of the dialogue in there.
Yeah, no, easy. So this game for me is
It's all
it's
over
on-
the place.
it's like so it's easily between pretty good one time and Now We Know.
Yep.
I feel like
That's exactly where it is.
because I had fun with it,
Except when we didn't.
but it was bad.
It was
The story-
middling.
Yeah, the story is what kind of pulls it up for me because it's just
Yep.
so silly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed the silly story, and that's kind
And they're
of
going for this over the top, pulpy 80s sci-fi almost TV series level sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's more Knight Rider than it is RoboCop, right?
yeah.
I think this is a textbook Now We Know game.
I think
Because it's it wasn't a game that we enjoyed really on its own merits. It's more of an experience that we're glad we had.
true, and it's got Kurt Russell on the box art, so
Yep.
you know what you're expecting.
I think that's textbook for what Now We Know is.
Yeah.
I think that that's a great spot to put games where it's I would have probably had a better time watching someone else play this on YouTube, but I would still have enjoyed watching someone else play this on YouTube because there's stuff here that's kind of cool and kind of fun. But it'd be better if I didn't have to actually.
Yeah, I think that's fine. The next up we have your favorite, August 25th, Action Man Robot Attack.
Yeah.
So where do you want to put this?
I think this is probably a Now We Know.
Yeah, that's where I would probably put it. Because it's if I had just watched you play through it for the speedrun thing, that would have been just as satisfying to me as having played it.
Yep. Yeah. I think that game is interesting because it should be here. But
No,
I
it's
don't
not
think
that-
it
it's not-
actually is. It's actually
it's not a
like
never again.
it's actually pretty fairly functional. And I think it's surprising. It's not actually like no one cares about it. There's no money behind this behind this toy line. And it has this game that's based off a bad CG film, but doesn't
Are they
actually
CG or
follow
puppets? I don't
anything
even
about
remember.
it. And it plays fine. It's actually got some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's nowhere near like up here.
No,
But like
but I don't think it's as bad as the next game we're going to talk about. It was on September 1st where we would force ourselves to play
oh wait.
Operation Logic Bomb.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the first game
Okay,
I
so
think that we
let me cycle back to Action Man because
Okay.
I want to frame Operation Logic Bomb in terms of Action Man. The weird thing to say, but I want to do it. Just go with me.
sure.
So Action Man Robot Attack is not a good game, but it's not as bad as it seems like it should be. And it has some moments that are so silly and just like out of left field that it actually makes it fun in unexpected ways.
Yeah, like you get to be a gorilla randomly. And you're like,
You get to be a
"What?"
gorilla. You get like this 5-second cutscene that shows you like grabbing this airdrop package, and then you start flying away on like a helicopter jetpack. And like you keep getting weapons, like unexplained weapons. Like there's design in this game, and it keeps you off guard because it gives you like unexpected fun.
Right, exactly. It's basically like a
Operation.
Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
It's just kind of dumb goofiness.
So Operation Logic Bomb, the reason I wanted to go back to Action Man is Action Man has this like sort of goofy, unexpected fun
Yeah,
in a sort of mediocre, so-so, not great game.
like yeah,
Operation Logic Bomb is a mediocre, kind of so-so, not great game, but with just nothing fun or interesting about it at all.
absolutely nothing. It is a video game. That is it. Never
Yeah.
again.
It is the most bog standard, straightforward, like everything just kind of works. You do the pew pew and then you go into the thing. There's no story basically at all. You get the little video feeds where you don't even know what's happening for the first couple things. There's no text to like in like the entire game even give you any grounding on what's even happening.
Put that in never again and let's move on.
Yeah, all right.
So on September 8th, we played Shadow of the Ninja.
That one we did.
Yeah, it was right after the bomb of Logic. The bombing of Logic.
So I had a frustrating time.
Yeah.
But I
The music's
think
good.
that the music's really good. I think the power of retrospect has elevated it a little bit because my temporary frustration with it is kind of subsided. Now, Shadow of the Ninja is the one with the weird hitboxes, where you get that one chain weapon, but the hitbox is only on the end of the chain.
Yes.
But then everything charges in towards you, so you end up stuck with weapons that don't actually hit
You
the
basically
enemy
just-
in front of you.
You just have to use the sword. Or,
Yeah,
excuse me, no.
I
yeah, it
was
was a sword.
I was gonna say maybe Shadow of the Ninja goes pretty good one time, but
It's hard for me because I was gonna it kind of falls in line with Vice Project Doom, where
they're basically the same game.
yeah, in terms yes, so I think
In that they are both not Ninja Gaiden, doing Ninja Gaiden things but worse than Ninja Gaiden.
yeah, I think it's I don't know, it's really hard for me to say if it's pretty good one time or now we know, but I'm leaning towards more now we know.
Yeah, I was about to throw it up into pretty good one time, and then I remembered all that hitbox shenanigans, and I was like, no.
Well, do you remember the stupid last stage that was an auto scroller, and you could like go up the
upwards
wrong side?
auto scroller?
Yeah, and
The
but there's those
impossible
enemies
one?
you couldn't kill.
Yes. Yeah.
And so to me that ruined the whole experience, because if
Mm.
I didn't have rewind time, I never ever would have ever bothered. So if it requires a feature like rewind time to make it an enjoyable experience without like bashing your head against a wall or spending 10 hours beating a game you don't want to spend 10 hours beating, it just sort of means it's, you know, it's not the type of game you want to play right now. So that's now we know seems real fair.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
So September 15th, we played Illusion of Gaia.
Yeah, I was hoping to get to this one. Okay, so
So-
I'm gonna throw this up here, and I know you agree with this because it's literally how you approach the podcast. Bam.
Yes. It's
Pretty good one time because I liked it a lot. I would almost be willing to go back to it again, but it's the Final Fantasy Adventure thing that I was talking about that didn't actually apply to Final Fantasy Adventure, where it's like, this is a longer RPG, and it was a time commitment, and the greatest portion of the fun in this game was experiencing like the twists and the nonsense that game had to offer.
Yeah, it's your mind can't be unblown.
Yeah.
And the Illusion of Gaia, the joy of it is 100%
The
going
element of
through the
surprise.
story and just being like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
The element
What
of
is
surprise and
And
just
yelling at
going
what's her
into
name.
it blind and not knowing that this stuff is going to happen and then just having to process it is like 90% of why I enjoyed that game. Combat is forgettable. The music is pretty good, but not like it's
can't think of
upper
a
tier, but
song.
not top tier for that era.
Yeah.
Everything.
The game is very functional, and I don't mean
Yes,
that in a
the
negative
game is
way.
the game is absolutely it absolutely is functional. It is.
You're not fighting the controller, you're not fighting
Right.
the mechanics.
Yeah.
Except for the one weird spinny thing you had some fun with.
Oh,
We had to like but whatever.
It's fine to play, but the joy is in the discovery of what the hell happens in that game and how wild
like-
it all is, and you can
like-
really only have that experience once.
Illusion of Gaia is a trip, and
It is.
the story is what makes it fun. And yeah, sure, I could see, you know, theoretically 20 years from now, we're hanging out and we're like, hey, do you want to relive Illusion of Gaia? And we'd be like, oh my god, let's talk about the story. And we'd think about playing the game, then we'd just laugh about the story and stop.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to play the game again, but I'd be more than happy to go through the story beats with somebody again.
Well, and that's
Like, 'cause
basically what you did. You had played it before,
True.
and you were like,
Yeah.
I don't really feel like playing that again, but
Mhm.
like, I'll hang out with you while you play it, and then we'll talk about it.
I loved watching you play. That was
I
that
loved
was
playing it. It is like,
because
it
you
is
got
going to
so
end
mad
up
at
being the most enjoyable game in this.
and
Some
you-
people who do tier maker lists will like do like tiers within tiers, where it's like the closer it is to the left, the better it is. And
Okay.
like this is absolutely on the left half of, or on the left side of Pretty Good One Time, because it was really fun, and I loved that game a lot. But I'm never touching it again.
Which brings us to September 22nd, where we played Karnov.
Yep, Jesse made us.
Thanks, Jesse.
GG.
Uh,
I'll let you.
I-
I'll let you take this one because
I don't have anything constructive to say about Karnov. It would just go, it would go comfortably in the never again for me.
I think that's fair.
Like,
I
it's not
think
even a
there's
now
a
we
certain
know.
degree of now we know just because it's so goofy, but I kind of already did know. So
I
I'm not
didn't.
gonna.
I
If you
actually-
want it in Never Again, I won't fight you on that, but I will put it to the left of Operation Logic Bomb because I
It's
liked it
oh.
better than that.
Oh, it's better than. So this is that moment where we almost need like an in-between tier because it's not as bad of a game as Operation Logic Bomb, which is insane to think about.
But we talked about this before. Like we can't talk about it in terms of like the actual quality of game. This is not a game quality list. This is
True.
a likelihood that we play it again list. And
Yeah.
general attitude about having played it for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm not going back to Karnov ever. I
Yeah.
will enjoy watching somebody else play it, but it's not happening. So after that, on September 29th, we played Clash at Demon Head. Now, you have to take the reins for this one because I did not play this one. I actually just watched you play it.
This game was bizarre
Mm-hmm.
and enjoyable in very specific ways, and I'm tempted to put it in pretty good one time, but I think it's a now we know. But it's a good now we know.
I think it's yeah. From what I saw, it's ultra ambitious in what it was trying to
Yes.
do, considering the time that it came out.
Yes.
That doesn't
absolutely.
make it a good or bad game. It just kind of makes it a little. Well, it's a little clunky because it didn't know how the systems were going to work, like
Right,
how
right.
to transition and all that sort of stuff. So I think now we know is pretty fair because it's
I'm
really
glad to have had the experience, but I don't ever have any interest in touching it.
yeah, and it's heavily required outside sources to get through the game.
Oh,
or
yeah,
you have to
the-
get a
like-
graph paper out.
Absolutely, like without like a detailed step-by-step walkthrough,
Yeah,
misery.
right,
Like like unplayable.
right.
Or not unplayable, but just like it was like a
Well,
4 or
unplayable
5
in a-
hour experience for me with a detailed here's exactly what you do walkthrough. And it's without that, if you actually just have to search around and find everything because
Well, and make
everything's
your own
so
maps.
obtuse, it's 30 to 50 hours.
Right.
And 90% of those hours are aimless wandering through really difficult platforming stages. Actually.
Yeah, some of them were oddly, more complicated than they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's fair. I think now we know is really fair.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't play it, so I don't know what it felt like to play. But just by watching it, that's sort of where I was thinking it would go.
It was frustrating for a lot of it. Would have been more frustrating if I didn't know what to do. And the only reason I knew what to do is because of outside sources. But it is ultimately an experience that I'm glad that I had.
So next, we have, on October 6th, Kickbot.
Yeah, Kickbot.
So this is another one that I actually didn't play. You played it.
I thought you picked it up.
Well, I played a little bit of it. I didn't play it as much as you did. I kind of just
I only
went
played
through
it for like an hour and a half. But there
Oh.
was only 10 levels. So.
I guess that's true. It was short.
An
so it's
hour and a
weird.
half was enough to play each stage like 5 times.
True. I think for me, it's probably a might go back to it again once it's released. It's not really a fair to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it kind of has to go there because like we played an unfinished game.
Yeah. So it's not fair to. It's almost silly to put it on on the tier list.
It really is because it's the only game. It's the only game on this list that is new and unfinished and unreleased. It was cool. It's a very neat idea, and I think that might go back to it again is the right place for it to go because that's literally the point of the demo. It's literally play this and see if you might want to come back to it when it's at full release.
So after that, on October 13th, we played Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Yeah. We sure did.
I like this game. I actually think it's really cool. I don't know if I'll play it again, which is I'm debating on if it goes into pretty good one time or might go back to it again.
I think it's a pretty good one time.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to play it again.
I mean, maybe I could be talked into doing a co-op run.
I did that with Leticia, so that's I enjoyed.
so you've
playing
already
it
had
with
that.
2 people.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm done. I don't think I'll ever play it again.
For me, it's a game that maybe if Jessie wanted to, but there's so many other games that I would rather play with her. Yeah. You know what? This is the spot for it.
I think it's I was gonna say it's one above Rygar, but not as it wasn't as exciting as the story beats of Gaia.
Yeah.
Then on October 20th, we played we played Scat. That's it, just Scat. So Scat controlled fine. It was not what I expected. It had Sigourney Weaver and Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
I did not. Yeah, I very much did not expect it to be a Gradius style rolling shooter.
What do you think?
It's right on the line here
Okay.
for me because I
It
did
was
actually
fun.
kind of enjoy it. It was
and
a
it
pretty
was-
good game. It has some pretty interesting stuff. The whole rotating gun thing.
That was cool. I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
it,
really
it had some really neat stuff. It also had really, really long and frustrating level design.
Well, I was just thinking of that one stage that I think you hated, which was the one where you're like in a tube going up.
Yep, and it's just straight motion sickness.
I don't know.
I think that when we're done with this, we're
Yeah.
probably gonna have to go over everything and be like, all right, what are you reconsidering? Yeah, that was.
I would be okay with pretty good one time as long as it's behind Rygar.
Let me come at it this way. Would you recommend this to a friend? Would you recommend it to them and say it's pretty good? Like it's actually pretty neat? Or would you recommend it to him and be like, it's not really that great, but it's weird enough and like you'll have fun for like the wrong reason?
Yeah, I think it's probably. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty good game. Like it actually controls well, and the little things that rotate around you are cool. Like
That's kind of what I'm thinking, right? That's why I'm thinking up here.
Yeah.
Like it isn't bad. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right here.
It's definitely very close. It's right on the center line here.
I think,
But I'm leaning
I think
towards
it's-
giving it pretty good.
I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like it was pretty good one time. That sounds good.
I'm not sold on it. I'm just kind of like, it's a coin flip on where it falls here.
So next we have on October 27th. We already have it in Play Forever, Mario 64. And during the actual podcast, I kind of said I don't know if I'll be bothered playing Mario 64 again because I've played it so many times. But the truth is that I'm
will
sure I'll
totally
always
play
be bothered playing Mario 64.
Like, there will always be a reason to go back to it. I have thought multiple times about going back and doing another randomizer.
Now, the randomizing aspect of it, oh man, that's a whole new bag of.
I mean, that is like
marbles or something.
that's not so much like playing it again, but like I guess you could look at Play Forever as like if there was a randomizer of it and you could just play it like
You could
differently
play it
every time.
forever.
Would you
Yeah.
play it forever? Is it fun enough where you would play it forever?
That's
Like-
not. I mean, I'm not that kind of person, so no game would ever get that
Fair.
category, except for maybe like Dota 2, because every game is different. But even then, I would get sick of it.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
But Mario 64 is Mario 64. I don't think we have to.
It's like
It's Mario 64.
it's Mario 64. Moving on.
So on November 3rd, we played the glorious Peacekeepers.
All right. So this one is a complicated one because the game is garbage. It is
But-
hot, steaming garbage.
I've not laughed. I mean, I laughed so hard when we were
Yeah.
doing the playthrough that it's hard for me to put it in the never again category, but I think it truly deserves to be in the never again category because it's a horrendous game.
I want to
But
point,
it's-
like, okay, we cannot in good conscience put it in the never again category because we finished recording it.
And then I played it
you
again.
went back and played more just
But it was-
because you wanted to.
No, that's not true. I needed the closure of getting the photo for my satisfaction of beating the game.
If it was
was-
a never again game, you would have run from it as fast as possible.
True, but
there was
I
enough
have.
there where there was something you wanted to get out of it.
But I mostly
keep
just
playing.
wanted to have that photo on my Twitter feed for my future self, because my Twitter feed is mostly just for me in the future, right?
Yeah.
And-
But
and-
like if you completely hated it, if it was Operation Logic Bomb and that photo had existed, you had to play through for another 2 hours to get that photo for your Twitter feed, and you were absolutely miserable with it, you would not have subjected yourself to misery to do that.
You would be
Operation Logic
surprised what I would do for a trophy.
Uh,
I don't want to talk about playing Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
all right, fair enough.
So
I think that there was enough there, like,
think
again,
now
there's-
we know is-
now we know is filled with like enjoyable for silly reasons. and this is the most that game of anything.
Yes, yeah. It's a. The reason I was thinking never again is because at this point I will never ever again play it.
Yeah, but again, like the bottom 3 categories are all I don't plan to play this again.
Yes, yeah.
It's just in terms of like general enjoyment in that process.
I mean, Peacekeepers let you change the sprites' colors. Like, now we know.
Yep.
Now we know it does. It's oh, Jellicoe.
Yep. Like,
the grenade didn't blow up when we threw it at people.
it plinked off of them. Oh, palette swap slosh.
It just bounced.
It just bolts
I hate this game. I hate this game so much.
It had the same effect as throwing a salt shaker.
Now we know.
It's a terrible. It's definitely the worst game in Now We Know mechanically. It's awful. There's no question of that. But like, it's also like some of the best content we've produced all year.
Yeah, it was the most fun in a single instance of playing a game that I've had throughout the whole podcast, actually, because we played it together, and just having the pure joy of laughing as hard as I did while playing it. That's why I think Peacekeepers is one of those games that if we were playing it separately and alone, it would be never again. Let's not even talk about it. It's not funny. But playing it with somebody else turned it into this really great experience.
Yeah.
So then November 10th, we went into Super Ghouls and Ghosts. So I think this is the first one that you might put in the Play Forever category that I would think maybe might go back to it again.
Would you go back to it again?
Maybe even pretty good one time. The reason I'm saying I might go back to it again is because they announced the remake of it.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
And I was kind of like,
that.
oh, does that count as playing the game again? Like, I might think about playing the remake of it. I will never go back to the Super Nintendo one, but I don't know how that. But because I've played the Super Nintendo one now, I saw the remake and I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe I'll play that. So it's kind of like in a weird place now in my
makes
memory
sense.
and if you sort of so I think this is one of those instances where we almost split the difference and have it be a might go back to it again.
I think that's I was thinking kind of the same thing. We'll nestle it in right next to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're
fair.
they're in the same. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's a good spot for it.
I think it's pretty perfect. Then next we skipped the 17th of November. That's when we talked about Yakuza, who effing knows. And then we have November 24th, Super Mario Sunshine. Now,
finally. Took us a while to get there, but we got there.
So for me, I love Super Mario Sunshine. I really do. I even got I got the 100% again, right? Like I did it before I did it again. I actually had more fun doing it the second time because it was easier than I remembered it being, oddly enough. There's a few parts that I think are horrendous and just really stupid.
Yeah.
But they didn't bother me too much. Now, would it be a Play Forever title? I don't think so. It's probably more of a might go back to it again if it was released in the 60th or the 50th collection or some nonsense. I would go through it again.
I'm comfortable putting it at the top of might go back.
Okay.
I don't think I actually will.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's closer to good one time for me.
Yeah.
But I know it's closer to Play Forever for you. So again, I'm comfortable splitting the difference and giving it its respect at below Crystalis.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can fight me on that if you want. I'm fine with that.
No, I don't. I think it's perfectly reasonable because it's the reason I went back to it was because it was re-released in a collection, not because I love the game so much I'm putting it in the console again. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Cool. What was next? Next we have December 1st.
I remember them from here. I'll get them all ordered.
Oh yeah, true. For me, Rystar would be pretty good one time.
Yeah. I might go back to it. I could see myself going back to the well on that one, but at the same time, I probably won't because there's not really much to do.
Yeah, there's no real replay for me in that game.
There's no replay value. There's not anything really more to see. I do feel like I pretty much got what I wanted out of it one time. What do you think? So I agree with one time. What do you think about putting it between between Kirby and Rygar?
Yeah, I think that's
I think there's a
very
broad
comfortable spot.
power gap between Kirby and Rygar
Oh.
in terms of quality.
Even like Rygar and Scat are definitely the bottom half of pretty good one time compared to freaking Illusion of Gaia
Yeah.
and Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Like these two, and I would argue actually these three,
Rystar is way better than
better than Rygar.
Yeah, Restar, whatever. Maybe it's Restar and Rygar.
Could be.
No. I'm happy the way that this is. I was thinking of pronunciation because I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, like, if you think about it as being from Japan and, like, Japanese, like, pronunciation of,
Right. I was just looking at the RY and the RI, and then I was
Yeah.
like, who cares?
Restar and Rygar. Restar and Regar.
I like Regar.
Oh, man, someone definitely pronounces it Regar.
Regar and...
100%.
Yeah, totally. Maybe that's what it actually is. How about that?
Moving on. I do think that this is probably the weirdest tier that we have, the pretty good one-time tier, because this is pretty much like pretty good games, no replay value, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to play this again, but like I had a really good time when we did.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
like
think
there is a like these two almost deserve their own category, and then there is a power gap between Kirby and Rystar.
Yeah.
And then there's a way, way bigger power gap between Rystar and Rygar.
Yeah.
And then probably a small power gap before you hit Scat. But
Well,
that's just how we do it.
Speaking of quality, where would you put our December 8th game, James Pond 2, codename Robocod? The game that has, I think it's the game that we played that's been ported the most number of times.
I mean, unless you maybe count Home Alone, just because there's so many
Home Alone,
versions
that's true.
of it.
Home Alone was on everything also. Home Alone is the most insane developed game that we've played just because it's on like 6 different systems and each one was developed by different people.
Yeah, the difference is Home Alone has 800 different games, and James Pond has 800 different ports of the same game.
I mean, you can buy it on the Switch.
I cannot believe you can buy it on the Switch.
You can buy James Pond 2 on the Switch.
James Pond is like easily Now We Know.
Oh, yes. It's Now We Know without it. I don't want to say it's never again just because it kind of falls into the, oh my god, this has been an incredibly entertaining 2 hours or no, it was like almost 4 hours or whatever it took you to play through it, because I only played through like the first, I don't know, to the first boss and was like, I can't do it. Having just watched you play it. So it's almost in that never again, but there's so much, it's just insane. The game's totally crazy that I feel like Now We Know is very fair and very a very apt spot for it.
But where does it go in Now We Know? I think it goes in right next to.
Yeah, I was debating either in front of or behind Peacekeepers.
I think it goes in front of Peacekeeper. It is a more functionally competent and more fun to play game than the Peacekeepers.
I mean, it actually
But
does
their
what it's
fun
supposed to
comes
do.
from the same place, which is what in the hell is going on.
So December 15th, Christmas, Nights into Dreams.
Well, it was just. I guess we did only. I've played all of Nights into Dreams before. I think you just played Christmas Nights. Or did you just play regular nights and then
I
you
just played
no doubt
regular
watched Christmas?
Yes. I didn't even finish regular nights. I hate this game.
Okay. It like I knew it was serious because like you didn't even try to find like usually you try to give like some benefit of the doubt, you try to find the good points. You're like, it wasn't bad for like it's okay if you like and you came into this like I want this to die in a fire.
This was like one of the first times where I jumped into the podcast just being like, listen, I know we usually try to make excuses for games, but I just can't. I don't know what to say about this game. I don't like any aspect of it. So for me, it would be never again. I'd be willing to talk with you about where to put this. but I just don't understand the game, and I don't know
Honestly,
how it became as popular as it did.
Okay, so I kind of made the Never Again category specifically for Knights. And it's not because I hate it that much,
Yeah.
but I knew you did, and I don't feel strongly enough about it to argue it.
Okay, yeah. I think Knights is right there and Never Again. I might play Operation Logic Bomb before playing Knights again.
All right.
But I would be happy.
Z-tier.
It is the least enjoyable game that we played the entire year for me.
Z tier.
Yes. Yeah. No tier. There should just be Knights tier at that end. Yeah. Just get out of here.
There we go.
That is my that is my take on Knights.
Someone is so mad at us right now, and I don't know who you are, but I am sorry, not sorry.
I'm sorry, not sorry.
I want you to know that Tom hates this worse than I do. I played through the whole thing and came out of it disappointed, but not upset. Just because like people have talked this game up over time as being like this incredible hidden gem, and I just did not feel it. And I picked it up like basically, what was it, like last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And again, did not feel it. Like, I don't know what people see in it. If you love this game, I am sorry. It's how I feel.
And so then our final game of the year was on December 22nd, Home Alone. How do you feel about this? Never Again. I would not agree with it, but I will not fight you on it.
I mean, it was fine. It was, you know what? Jokes aside, no, it's not a Knights too. Get out there. Oh God, I can't. There's no the things. Okay, well, everything's on the list now. I'd put it in Now We Know. Honestly.
Yeah, for me, it's so the experience of Home Alone for me was. Really, it was just fun because it was, again, this is my nostalgia kicking in, so it could be the same thing with, someone that's like loves Knights or whatever. I liked playing through it with you because I never beat it, but now that I've beaten it, I don't think I'll ever play it again. So Never Again is totally reasonable. I am not upset at a placement of Never Again.
If I'm being honest, Never Again is like for a completely irredeemable experience, and like I came out of it like upset and being like, man, it was a complete waste of time. I have gained nothing from having played this. I don't feel that about Home Alone. Home Alone was fun, but it was only fun because the time commitment applied to it was so low.
True.
I have put more time into like shitty Flash games than I put into Home Alone, and I had about as much fun.
Yeah, that's very reasonable. It's a 1991 DOS game.
So all right. So that's everything.
I actually really like this tier list right now as I'm looking at it.
I kind of do too. I was thinking it might be fun.
Sure.
Because we've done this sort of collaboratively. I think we both should get a veto. Like where we can move one of these games one tier and the other person can't stop us.
Okay, yeah, sure, that's fair.
If you feel really strongly about like something should go up or down. So, first of all, are there any that you like are looking at now and you're like, that probably doesn't belong? That doesn't deserve.
I gotta say, I'm actually really comfortable with this. The only one that I was contemplating was Vice Project Doom because I actually had fun with it. But I don't know if I think I just had fun with it because it was more of like a now I know what this is, which is literally the name of the title. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I actually really like this a lot. The only one that I would even question putting in is switching around is maybe Mario Sunshine, but to be honest, like I said, I played it after 15 years, and that was it. Like I've played it once and then one other time, or almost 20 years, right? Jesus.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Yay, we're old.
I think this is actually a super. I'm very happy with this tier list, but I don't. Is there something that's jumping out at you?
There's two things that stand out to me, and that's that I think Scat and Shadow of the Ninja should both come down a tier.
Let's see. Shadow of the Ninja's music was so cool.
Yeah.
But would I ever play it again? Oh, you know what though? Would I ever even contemplate? Because I understand Pretty Good One Time and Now We Know are not necessarily games that we'd ever think about playing again.
Right.
But the only real so the controls were really tight in Shadow of the Ninja, but the game it suffered in that if rewind time didn't exist.
Were, but the attack controls, the hitboxes and stuff were nonsensical. And that's why I want to bring it down, is because it's so unsatisfying to play.
Wait, is this the one that had like the weird airplane level?
Shadow of the Ninja is the one that has those weird football linebackers that charge at you and try to push you off platforms.
Yeah, no, I hated that crap. That was so stupid.
And it switches you back and forth between the sword that doesn't have enough range and the like whip thing that only has a hitbox at the end of it. So there's like 5 feet in front of you where you physically can't hit something.
It did also have bosses that were like, oh, this had the tank boss too. That boss was stupid.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm looking back at the game because I'm remembering.
The more I think about Shadow of the Ninja, the more angry I get at it.
Yeah, it's a game that I used rewind time heavily while playing.
Oh, I did too, and I was still mad at it.
I just remember liking certain aspects of it. Like I thought it was cool the way that you like hung around. Like so, my perspective is really, really wrong because I have never ever played the classic Ninja games on the NES.
Okay.
I've never played Ninja Gaiden. I've never played
probably do something about this for the podcast.
Like there was so much stuff in in Shadow of the Ninja that just kind of sucked.
Yeah. That's why I'm so like I Scat ended up going up into Pretty Good One Time because like that was mostly my push. You were already ready to put it down and Now We Know.
Yeah, that I would put that comfortably in Now We Know.
So I'm comfortable doing that. If you like, you can use that as your move. And I will use this as my one move.
Oh, dude, I forgot about. Do you remember the Shadow of the Ninja boss that was like a dude that turns into a winged creature?
Yes.
And then you have no idea. He has no attack tell. He just randomly swoops down. You have to hope that you're moving.
Yeah, it's pure memorization, which is a very NES game design. But like, you see what I mean? Where like, Shadow of the Ninja has the appearance of a game that is like okay, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I like
Never
this.
Again is like games that you're like mad you had to play, and I'm
True,
mad I had to play Shadow of the Ninja.
But I would be more inclined to share Vice Project Doom with someone than Shadow of the Ninja, just because the story of Vice Project Doom is silly. I'm just proud that Natsume
Here's your
spelled their
bad
name
sword
right.
and your bad whip.
They didn't misspell their name in the title, so
yeah,
Natsume did all right there.
Yeah,
but yeah, no,
I'm good with this,
I like
though.
this. I'm good. This is a 2020 tier list. I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
振り上げた握り拳が俺たちのジャッジメント